So I want you to hear this again today because I know every now and again I gotta remind myself that starting over at any age, but I'm talking about being 50 and up, is not a sign that you failed. It is not proof that you waste your time. It is not evidence that you should have known better. For some of us, and I mean this with everything in me, starting over 50 is the first decision we have ever made that was completely and entirely on our own. And and that is where you are right now. Listen, if you are standing at the beginning of something new and wondering how you got there this late, stay with me because I need to tell you something about what starting over actually means. Let me paint a picture for you. You have spent decades building something. Maybe it was a career, a marriage, a version of yourself that made sense to everyone around you. You put in the time, the work, you showed up even when it was hard. And then one day, slowly, maybe all at once, you realize that what you built does not fit everyone. Or maybe it never did, and you only now honestly have to admit to it. And so finding yourself at this age, standing at the beginning of something again, and the voice in your head, or maybe it's the voices around you says, how do you end up here? Did you not have this figured out by now? It's not too late to be starting over. I want to talk to that voice today, that exactly voice. Come here, because that voice is lying to you. Starting over is not failure. Starting over is information. It means you have grown past something. It means you have become someone who cannot no longer pretend that old things still work. It just really kind of means you have enough self-awareness to recognize when something is not quite enough. You need courage, even if it does not feel like courage, to stop doing it anyway. That is not failure, sis. That's one of the most honest things a person can do. But I also want to be real with you about something. Starting over at an older age has a specific weight. And it's that starting over, it's not like starting over at 25. Because at 25, everything is put you to be figuring it out. At 25, starting over feels like exploitation. At 50, it can feel like a loss. Like you're mourning the years you spent doing in a direction that did not lead to nowhere. Though it would, and that grief is real. I'm not going to minimize that. Grief of a path that did not part out the way you planned it, sometimes actually it's how you feel. Not skipped over, not rushed through, but it's gonna sort of feel. But here's what I've really learned, both from my own life and from 2 decades of sitting with women and some of the most hard moments of their life. Grief and possibilities can exist at the same time. You can mourn what did not work and still be excited about what is coming. You can be sad about the years and still be grateful for the ones that taught you. You can still feel at all at once, and none of that means you have done anything wrong. I want to ask you something. Think about the things you have started over in your life. The job you left, the relationship you walked away from, the version of yourself you outgrew. Were any of those actually failures? Or were there moments while you finally listened to something inside you have been trying to get attention for a long time? Because I think that a lot of us, especially women who spent years putting everything first, starting over is not random. It's not impulsive. It's actually the result of a very long, intentional conversation that we finally got brave enough to act on. And that deserves a little bit of credit. And let me talk about the specific kind of starting over that happens at an older age. I'm saying 50 because I am 50. Because there's something different about it, something that I think actually makes it really more powerful than starting over at any other time. At 50, which is the middle, you know things you did not know at 30. You know what drains you, you know what lights you up, you know what relationships are real and which ones were convenient. You know which version of yourself feels true and which one's performance is. You have this data now, like this real life data about who you are and what you actually need. And that data all the years of living and learning and something getting in a way or something getting is wrong, that's baggage. That is foundation. So starting over does not mean starting from scratch. It means starting from experiences that is completely different. And I think that's just sometimes for us with women, we are afraid of change, afraid of not being able to have control over those things. So if you're starting over season as right now, if you're rebuilding something or leaving something or finally beginning to something that you have been putting off for years, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not a cautionary tale. You are a woman who finally gave herself permission to choose. And choosing, really choosing from a place of honesty and self-knowledge, that's not something to be embarrassed about. That is something to be proud of. The second half does not have to look like the first. It does not have to follow the same rules. It does not have to make sense to people who have not lived your life. It just has to be yours. Really, honestly, fully yours. And if this is the first time in a long time that something has felt like yours, welcome. You're right on time. Remember, knowing yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. Check yourself so you can be yourself. This was the Kenya team, and this is a vibe check. Peace.